Hi, my name is Charlie,
And my name is Ella.
and we're the regional directors of the Bellevue, Washington Back-to-Bach chapter.
In this video, you'll learn about music from the Romantic era, which spanned from around 1800 to 1850. We had our members of our Bellevue chapter perform short snippets of their favorite Romantic era piece and provide context about the piece. But first, let's get a feel as to what the Romantic era was all about.
According to Britannica, Romanticism can be seen as a rejection of the precepts of order, calm, balance, idealization, and rationality that typified classicism in the late 18th century. Contrarily, Romanticism emphasized the emotion, irrationality, imagination, and heroism of the individual. Among the characteristic attitudes of the Romantics include emphasis of nature's beauty, value of emotional release over intellectual reasoning, exploration of a hero's passion and struggles, and an obsessive interest in folk culture, national and ethnic cultural origins, and the medieval era.
The Romantic music movement coincided with the rise of Romanticism in literature, art, architecture, and historical writing. Romantic music is definitely more emotional and rule-breaking than the classical music that came before it. According to Connolly Music, during the Romantic era, there was an increased use of rubato, the adjusting of tempo to reflect the level of emotional intensity the music should convey at a given moment.
Also, harmonies made greater use of semitones and unusual chord progressions. During the Romantic era, the leitmotif, which are melodies associated with an external reference like a character or emotion, was pioneered by Richard Wagner. Romantic composers did not rely on cadence to resolve a passage, but allowed for an unending melody. And lastly, compositions had increased tempos and complicated rhythms that demanded extraordinary precision and technical skill to be performed.
With the Romantic era came the rise of the musical virtuoso. According to Connolly Music, Romantic composers were often more than just composers. They were likely to also be performers and/or conductors. Virtuosos had extreme technical proficiency and widespread acclaim. Think Paganini, Liszt, and Brahms. Fun fact, many believed Paganini was possessed by the devil because of his incredible technique. Other prominent composers of the Romantic era include Chopin, Liszt, Fanny Mendelssohn, Felix Mendelssohn, Tchaikovsky, Clara Schumann, Robert Schumann, Schubert, Dvorak, and Johannes Brahms. Now, let's hear some of our members' performances.
Hi everyone, my name is Marcus Young and I am from the Back to Bach project in Bellevue, and today I'm here to talk about Frederick Chopin. He was born March 1st, 1810 in Warsaw, Poland, and died October 17th, 1849 in Paris, France. He was the second child of 4 children, and his parents were Nicholas and Justina Chopin. He was a child prodigy and started giving public concerts by the age of 7, and was taught piano by his mom until later when he studied piano with Wojciech Zewny. He composed his first composition also when he was 7, and from 1823 to 1826, Chopin attended the Warsaw Lyceum, a school for music. In 1826, he began a 3-year course under the Silesian composer Joseph Elsner at the Warsaw Conservatory of Music. He studied music composition and theory. Chopin became financially independent after publishing his works and teaching piano from all over Europe in 1833. And over time, Chopin's output of works declined year by year. In 1841, he had written a dozen, though only 6 compositions were in 1842. His health started to deteriorate from 1842 onwards, and he had to decline several invitations for concerts. His last performance was for the benefit of Polish refugees on November 16, 1848, in London's Guildhall. Chopin was a prominent figure in the Romantic era, and he helped shape the expression of deep love and emotion through music. His influence on other people was inordinate, and fellow musicians tried to copy his style. During the era, at churches, religious ceremonies, or festivals, Chopin's music would often be playing. Chopin is very important to me because his music conveys stories through emotional melodies and resolutions. I enjoy Chopin's music very much, and he is meaningful in my life because I play and listen to his music all the time. Now I will play an excerpt from his 3rd Scherzo, Opus 39 in C-sharp minor.
Saint-Saëns was a French composer in the Romantic era. I like this piece because the beginning is very powerful.
Gabriel Fauré was a Romantic-era French composer, organist, and pianist, who is, to this day, considered to be one of the most prominent French composers of his generation, inspiring numerous other 20th century composers. Fauré's music is commonly regarded to be a critical connecting point between the end of Romanticism and the birth of modernism. I'll be performing Après un rêve, which translates to After a Dream, which is considered to be one of Fauré's greatest works, alongside Clair de Lune and Requiem. Après un rêve is one of the three melodies which make up Gabriel Fauré's Trois melodies. I chose to perform this piece because of the lyrical melodies that showcases Fauré's musical expertise.
Hi everyone, my name is Ella and I'll be playing a piece called And Hung Like Those Top Jewels of the Night by American composer Vincent Persichetti. This piece is not a romantic piece, but it is a modern piece, and it sounds sort of like a Chopin nocturne in that they have a similar left-hand motion and right-hand melodic line, and they would be best played at night. This piece is based on a poem, and it's part of a collection of piano pieces based on poems called Poems for Piano. And the poem that this was based on is called Twilight Revelation, written by American poet Leonie Adams, and I'll read an excerpt of that now. This hour was set the time for heaven's descent, come drooping toward us on the heavy air. The sky that heaven's seat above us bent, blue faint as violet ash, you near me there. In nether space, so drenched in goblin blue, I could touch Hesperus as soon as you. You'll see that this piece has a lot of colors, like the poem does, and a sort of ethereal quality. This piece is also atonal, which means that there's no set or clear key signature. There's no sharps or flats in the key signature, but there are a lot of accidentals, which gives it a really mysterious quality. And a little bit about Vincent Persichetti. He was an American composer, educator, and writer born in 1915. And he trained many noted composers at the Juilliard School, including minimalist composer Philip Glass, who you may have heard of.
Not a lot of people play Vincent Persichetti these days, but my teacher introduced me to him because she was required to play the piece when she was in high school for a competition, and I believe it's a really beautiful piece, and people should play Persichetti more. So I hope you enjoy the excerpt.
Thank you so much for watching. We hope you learned something new about the Romantic era and enjoyed our performances.
To be performers and or do you hear all the background noise?
Also, harmonies made greater use of semitone.
Verdi, Schumann, Robert Schumann, Clara Schumann, Robert Schumann, Franz Schubert, Anton Dvorak, and Johannes Brahms. Now let's hear some of our members' performances.